Hey guys, Trainer DC here, coming at you with another video. In our last video on this channel, we discussed how Generation 10 is going to come out in 2025 and why this makes the most sense for the Pokemon Company and Game Freak to do. I'll leave a card above to that video if you guys haven't checked it out yet, because I feel like it gives good context to this topic as well as to why the 2026 game, the big game for the 30th anniversary, is going to be a Johto game. Basically, if you didn't see the whole Generation 10 video, Game Freak, if you guys don't know, is on a 3-year cycle always when it comes to new generations, and they are not going to break that cycle, and we got into why in the last video. But essentially, because of that, Generation 10 is going to come out in 2025 as opposed to what a lot of people think is going to happen, which is 2026 for the 30th anniversary as a big celebration. To me, what makes a lot more sense for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon is a return to the Johto region, and the reason I say this is because Johto and Unova are the two games, the two regions that have the longest time without getting a revisit, and the Pokemon Company doesn't like to have any of their regions not be in the spotlight. And what I mean by this is they don't want to leave the regions behind because they're still trying to sell you merchandise from those regions. Like, for example, they are still trying to sell you Wooper plushes even though Wooper is a Johto Pokemon. They're still trying to sell you Darmanitan toys even though Darmanitan is a Unova Pokemon. They don't want you to forget about those regions because Pokemon is a part of a bigger world that they've created. It's not just the Galar region or the Paldea region. They want you to remember every single region, and they want you to buy merchandise from all those regions, which is why they will never leave a region behind and never not revisit any of their prior games. So as we've discussed in other videos before, I fully believe that this year in 2024 we will get an Ilka-styled Pokemon Unova remake, black and white, being made by the new subsidiary called Pokemon Works. If you guys haven't seen those videos, again, I'll leave them in a card above. But assuming that all happens, the only region left that needs to be revisited, or rather the region that needs to be revisited the most, is Johto. And I think Johto is going to be our 30th anniversary game for a couple of reasons. Number one, as I said before, it's the region that needs to be revisited the most after Unova. They're going to want to go back to it at some point. And I feel like just to celebrate the 30th anniversary as a whole, it makes the most sense to revisit Johto that year because it's an extension of Kanto. Johto and Kanto are synonymous to one another. They are tied together directly. In the original Gold and Silver and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you go to Kanto in the post-game. That is the post-game for Johto, is you get to explore the Kanto region because in universe, these two regions are literally connected to each other with a mountain in the middle of them. The other possibility is they could revisit Kanto again in 2026 for the 30th anniversary, but I don't think that's going to happen because I think they understand and they realize that the fan base has complained about the Kanto pandering that has gone on in the past. We have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee on the Switch. You can play Kanto if you want to. You can't play Johto. So I think we're going to get Johto games for that reason in 2026. As to what form they're going to take, that is the bigger question here. Are they going to make a, traditional Pokemon experience in the Johto region? Are they going to make a Legend Celebi game where we get to explore Johto in the past? Are they going to make something else entirely? We don't know. If I had to guess though, I think there's a couple of things that are more likely than other scenarios out there for 2026 in Johto. I'll go through the 3 ideas I have, and you guys can let me know in the comment section below which idea you think is the most likely to happen. But the first is that Game Freak develops a fully fledged open world style Pokemon game within the Johto region. So kind of think of like a Scarlet and Violet type game, but with more cities and whatnot, given that Johto region has a lot of cities and whatnot. And maybe we get the Kanto region in the post game, and maybe it's an entire game that the whole thing is open world and you can explore Johto and Kanto at the same time. That would be pretty cool. The only issue I have with this idea is I don't know how they would get that out in 2026 when they're making Legend Z to A in 2025, Gen 10 in 2025, and then all of a sudden they're coming out with this big open world Johto game in 2026. That's why I kind of think this idea is not going to happen. The second idea, as I mentioned before, is we get Legend Celebi or a Legends Johto game. I think that the fan base would absolutely love this, and I think that they know that the two regions that are most deserving of a Legends game are Johto and Unova. If I had to guess, I would say the next Legends game is going to be a Legends Unova, a game exploring the origins of the original dragon. But a Legends Celebi is up there as well because, as I said before, those are the two games that make the most sense to do next in the Legends style. The thing is as well with this game, the same issue applies with the open world Johto idea I have, is how would they feasibly make this game for 2026? You have Legends Z to A coming out in 2025, Gen 10 coming out in 2025. Can they really put together another Legends game for Generation 6? That's the only thing I question there. The third possibility, which in all honesty I think is probably the most likely, is that Pokémon Works, this new subsidiary that the Pokémon company has founded with Ilka, is working on the Johto remakes for 2026. As I said before in other videos, I think that in 2024 we're going to get our Unova Black and White remakes from this new Pokémon Works studio, and that's going to be the game for this year. The Pokemon company, Game Freak, they do not want to take a year off. They do not want to miss out on holiday 2024 sales. With that being said, that gives them another 2 years to develop their next game. And if they're going to do, let's say, a Let's Go style, you know, that half chibi art, kind of like Oras and X and Y, if they're doing that style for the Unova games, which I think is probably the style they'll end up going with, and then they have another 2 years of development time, that gives them enough time to develop Johto in that style. They could very easily make a Crystal remake for 2026 exploring the Johto region in HD for the first time. I think that's the most plausible scenario for 2026 and the Johto region. They could also throw in Kanto in there as well and have it be this big experience that's akin to the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and even the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes. I feel like that's the most likely possibility for 2026. There also is a fourth option here in that they do something that none of us are thinking of, because the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have become a bit more unpredictable lately. They used to be very regimented in what we were getting. You know, you'd get your 2 games that would start a generation off, you get your 3rd version, you get your remakes if applicable to that generation, and that was it. And it was always the remakes would happen in sequential order, so Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now they're mixing it up again, because we got Gens 4 last generation in Legends Arceus and BDSP, and now we're getting Pokemon Legends Z to A. We're jumping to Generation 6. Of course, I think we're going to get the Generation 5 remakes this year, but still, they're doing things a little bit out of order, so to speak. They're doing things that are more surprising to the fan base, so there is the possibility as well that we get something completely out of the picture no one could even think of for 2026 in Johto, or maybe it's not even Johto at all and they do something even crazier than that. Who knows? But that's what I think is going to happen for 2026. I think we're going to get our Johto remakes that year made by the new subsidiary Pokemon Works, and I don't think that's the only thing coming out for 2026, and I'll get into that in another video discussing the timeline for Pokemon over the next few years, because I think we're getting a pretty good idea as to what they're planning based on what's happening now with Pokemon Legends Z to A, coupled with the founding of this new subsidiary Pokemon Works. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. Do you guys agree with me and think that the 2026 game for the 30th anniversary is going to be a revisit or a remake within the Johto region? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.